Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Hermitcraft, and today's is a landmark as we start on a new adventure, an adventure you're well and truly aware of. I'm talking about the transformation of the outside area of our base. It starts today. This dirt is slowly going to be transformed into custom biomes that are going to be surrounding the outside here of our island. I'm so excited. I have been for the longest time actually, and it's really come together lately. And I gotta say, a massive thank you to everyone who has logged on to the plot world and contributed with some ideas and inspiration, because that world is spectacular and wonderful. I log on there, I get tons of ideas, and I've actually spent hours and hours going around that world, taking notes, taking screenshots, writing down names, and making a plan of what we're going to do on the outside here. So if you're not familiar with what's going on, let's fly up into the air and do a lap around the island. Now, I love doing this, and I probably do it more often than I should in a video, right? But I like to get up here and look down and think about how all of this is going to change. So we're going to be dividing up large portions of this dirt that you see in front of us, and we're going to be turning into different types of biomes. Now, I've actually made a plan. I've taken screenshots, like I've said. I've made notes. I've got a picture of the island, like arrows and areas are pointed out and what I'm going to change them into. What I'm not going to do is tell you the plan from start to end. I feel like that would really take some of the fun out of what we're going to be doing if you knew all the plans from day one and then you had to wait forever to see it all, because this is going to take a long time. This is a ginormous project, and today we're starting off with the first biome, which is going to be a sandy biome. It's going to be very flat, and we're going to be focusing on these sandy yellow coloured textures. You can see we've got a few here. Some are a bit too vibrant and we'll have to use them sparingly. And one of these is actually stone, really, with a little bit of gold on it. So I'll explain why that's in the palette later on. But we'll start off with some basics, and then we'll talk about all the things that are going to make this area interesting, like rocky formations that we might decorate it with. And there'll be a couple of buildings in here as well. Now, I've really got no idea how long this is going to take me, and I'm going to spend the usual amount of time as I do on an episode, and then we'll see where we get to. But it's going to involve me flattening this mountain of land that I'm standing on right here, and the area is going to stretch across the front here. It's going to get cut off just over there. I'm actually going to separate that part of the island. That'll be the last bit that we do, by the way, because I'm going to go in one direction all the way around this place. So it'll come all the way down here. We're going to flatten out all of this land. It's going to go up to somewhere around where that trench is, and here going across to over there. There's going to be like a natural border that's going to link this area into the next one, and I've got something very cool for how we're going to do that. But one thing at a time. We've just got to focus on the desert here first of all. And also I've got loads of cats populating this area. They're going to get in the way, I'm sure. They're going to be teleporting all over the place, aren't they? Anyway, I think it's time for a mini time lapse. We're going to start off with a little bit of land flattening right in front of us. I've worked through the night, the sun is rising, I've fallen into a hole, and yeah, you can see it's been flattened, pretty straightforward stuff. What I'm going to do is build over the top of this to make my life nice and easy. Rather than removing this and replacing, we're just going to put all of our blocks on top of it. We're going to kind of keep the natural terrain or formation of these blocks that are here at the moment. So it'll make, you know, the choices a lot easier, as we'll just follow what's already here. And then somewhere around here there's going to be buildings and stuff. But I want to start off just by doing the outside, which is mostly going to be sand. So we're going to create a border because the sand will go all the way up to the edge here. And there's something that I didn't think about. We probably want to remove the first layer of dirt down there and replace that with sand as well, so that the transition is nice. But we'll go around the entire outside, so then we've got a nice old border for this area. I like this task. It's kind of relaxing. You can see him going around here just throwing in some random blocks. I've got to be honest, I feel like there's times and places for using these different blocks together, and it's just the sand and the sandstone that I like. And this one's too bright, I think. Like, I don't know, it just always seems to stick out wherever you put it. So I might just keep it simple and actually reduce the block palette that we're using here. But the reason that I hit record is because of dual wielding, which is extremely useful. So I can right click and I can left click to break and replace blocks, which is nice. Before, what I was doing is I was just breaking it with my fist because I couldn't be bothered to, you know, constantly change back and forth between the shovel and the thing like that. So dual wielding there, very useful. I don't use dual wielding enough, but I really do like it when I find a reason to use it, because of course for the longest time in the game we never had this, and it certainly makes your life easier. Alright, we're in the sky, we're going to turn around and look down, and that's pretty cool. I like the progress so far. Hasn't taken too long to do that. You can see the border going over to that spot and along this side as well, and that's the more interesting bit that we're going to talk about. So over here I've started using sandstone slabs, which are actually making quite a difference. So this right here is how you'd see normal Minecraft terrain, right? And I'm just so used to you seeing that I put the blocks down but like that. And then over here it dips down a little bit, and I started thinking about using slabs. So I think what I want to do is make this terrain look a lot nicer than what's default, and we're going to throw in slabs like this around as well. We're going to move on from just focusing on placing this though, and I feel like we need to actually do a little bit of building, put something in this area, as there is a lot of space here to be used. Over on this side though, you can see I haven't placed down any slabs at all, and I think I want to change that, and it would have been nice to have a few to place down. And of course, with the power of video editing, I can just jump cut, come back over here with some slabs, and that definitely looks a lot nicer, doesn't it? Yeah, we're going to go with this. We're not going to use them for every single block, but we definitely need a few in there. And here's another thing to ponder. If we want to keep the palette sand and sandstone, I'm going to go around and remove those other blocks. But would it be advisable to use them frequently in particular areas? Like over here, I've just added a lot of end stone, and I think from just about this difference, it nicely changes the colour of the sand that you're looking at. When you get up close though, not as nice. But maybe the way to use those extra textures is to just group them together in particular areas. And you know what, I wonder if a couple of slabs wouldn't be too much of a harm around here, just to break up the flatness as well. It's time to get into phase 2 of this episode. We're going to put the first building in this area, and it's going to be the portal room. You can see the portal is there, yet this building that I've started to create is over here a little bit. So that'll get moved, and the theme of this building is going to be sandstone and purple. Purple to match the portal that we got going on over there. And I got a little bit of a vision in my mind, and I decided to kind of plan out in advance and then mock it up and build it a little bit. And I think this is going to fit snugly onto the corner of this island. So let's turn around and have a look. Yeah, that's going to nest nicely into that area. Now what I've done is I've taken the different levels and the facade on the outside of this building and just kind of mocked up the dimensions of it to see if it'll all fit together. So there's going to be like 3 different levels to this. We're going to have walls at the bottom, which will have these pillars between them. We're going to use a lot of purple in this build, which I hope is going to look good. Then we're going to have a second floor with archways and this open strip through the middle. And actually on one side that's going to come all the way down to the bottom. Then we have like some windows at the top, and then there's going to be like a little thing, maybe a flag on the top of it as well. I'm not sure. But this central column right here on one side, or maybe even 2, will basically be a staircase leading up to the portal that's going to be hidden in the middle. I think it's going to be really cool. It's sort of based on pyramids, but kind of not. Obviously the shape overall is like a pyramid, but it's much more structured than that. What we're going to do though is just build it up one bit at a time. So let's start at the base of this structure. The purple and the sandstone together, brilliant, but we got to be careful not to overuse it. And I've just finished building the basics of the base layout here. I think it's pretty good. I feel like this structure is going to need a little bit more height than I've sort of built over there in order for this base to look cool, and it's going to require some modification to the terrain over on this side, as it really has extended into what little space we have. The insides though, I don't think you're really going to see this stuff. It's mainly going to be a staircase leading to the portal, which will be further up the top, and maybe actually what we'll do is make a cube-like portal where you can enter it on all sides. That'll probably work out pretty well. Anyway, I was just thinking about other details that we could add to this area. We're going to need lighting over here, and I think we're going to put the lighting right down here as the ring of blocks that's going to go around before the next floor starts. So some of this stuff we might cover up with trapdoors, or we might cover it up with carpets. I'm really not sure. That in itself looks pretty cool, I think. Maybe we bring a trapdoor over here. Well, that was some poor jumping every so often. I've had this problem lately on the server where you jump and you got the elytra on and it tries to activate it at the same time, and it means that you can sort of fall down, and it's really irritating. Anyway, yeah, I want to throw in some trapdoors somewhere around here to add more detail. I don't think that's the way to go. Maybe on the front of these might look okay. I'm not sure. I've also got some birch fences, but again, I don't know if there's really a place to put these. Actually, that breaks up a lot of the purple if we want to reduce the amount in total that's visible. That might work. We could put sandstone stairs at the bottom and then it would hide it a little more. I'm going to play around with this and see where we go. The sun is setting, the light levels are dropping, and you can see where the light is coming from now as the middle level illuminates upwards. And from back here as well, you can see this little archway that are built there, just not high enough. This thing needs to go up to about there, I reckon, but we're not quite ready for the second floor just yet. I've gone around and made my adjustments. I really didn't feel like those wooden trapdoors had a place on the front here, so we need to put them in the next floor, which will be quite easy. And you can see up there we've got some of this blue clay, so another purpley colour added to the palette. And this is missing something. I don't know if you can figure out what it is, but I'll let you think, and we'll pop up these stairs. This is where the stairs are going to be positioned. I reckon they'll look pretty good like that. And coming up to the top here, we could actually put the portals in right at these spots, so each one being 2 wide. Imagine there's a bit of a cube here. I don't think that's going to work. I think you want to walk up here and then have a ring around where the portals are going to be. So we would have it like this. Yes, that is much better. This little ring makes a big difference, I think. There goes the flint and steel, bam. And I've got another one here waiting. Cool, so hopefully that'll sync up with the one in the nether, no problem. And from back here, it's probably just about the right height. Yep, remember though, that's mostly going to be concealed. I love this design so far. It's looking seriously cool, and it is going in the right direction. So, what was missing? Did you have a think? It is greenery, shrubs and the like. Always very important when doing builds. And I've grown to really like doing this stuff over time. Still don't feel like a pro at it, but I know that we're going to end up using birch leaves because they are not as vibrant. And being in the mushroom biome, all of the grass colours are going to be as vibrant as they can be by default. And that is too much green. Maybe we'll stick in the occasional one of those. Vines are always another option. Too green in my opinion, and those vines can spread as well, so we've got to be careful where we use those. Although actually I think the vines are pretty cool. So in order to get this build looking really nice and slightly overrun, we need some shrubbery in here as well. So how's that? A little too much? Not enough? I don't know. I'm not very good at this stuff, but I do know that it looks nicer than when it didn't have the shrubbery. Makes it feel a little bit more lived in a strange way because it's kind of overgrown. Need to stop these vines from growing in particular places, so there's string dotted all around the place. And I haven't done too much over on this side yet, but you'll see a few things here and there like these little trees, cactuses, we got stones on the ground. It's really cool, and the shape of this has come together pretty well. I like these now that they're a lot bigger. I like the arches at the top. And I've kind of run into a little bit of a problem with the next floor. And another problem I think is that this is a bit too big and plain. So maybe attaching some sort of thing. Yeah, that's really not so bad now, is it? And the problem with the next floor is the height of this one sort of ends here. And it's kind of level with the portal, right? So we end up with a kind of strange structure here that I actually think looks pretty fantastic. So you've got this very claustrophobic room here. The idea is to walk straight into the pool. You've got these blocks from where I've been jumping around. And then I've built this up here. We've got like some spikes and then a little tower at the top. Best way to see this though is from my camera account. So while I've been recording, I've had this account on the other screen. And look at that. That's a mighty fine structure. I love the way the purple is vivid at the bottom. And it fades as it goes up. Maybe it could possibly be a little bit taller. That's the only thing I'd have to say negative about it. But if you've got any thoughts, as always, leave a comment down below and let me know what you think of this one. What is this strange place? I don't know. Oh, hang on a second. We go down here, do we? That was kind of dramatic. How does Tango get back up there? We're in Tango space, by the way. Is it with a rocket? I want to eat instead of use the rocket. Maybe it's an ender pearl. Let's try a rocket. And again. Yay, there you go. So you, ooh, how taking some damage, taking some damage. So you can get up there with one of those. What about an ender pearl? No. Yes. Oh, there is string up here. Or is there? I don't know where that ender pearl hit actually. You need a piece of string for it to hit. Anyway, you can get up with both of those. The reason we're in Tango space is for this. He said he'd leave me a chest with some nether wart blocks in. So the next part of the desert that we're going to build is like a little, I don't know what you call it really. It's like a blood pit. I know it sounds kind of strange, but that's what it is. And I asked Tango if I could borrow some nether warts, and he was kind enough to leave some here. Speaking of Tango, what are we going to do with this thing? Now, I like a good prank, and I like leaving it there for a while, but we know it's going to come down at some point. And therefore, it nags me. I keep thinking, that's going to get torn down at some point. I should do it sooner than later. I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? How long should we keep it here for? These guys need a theme song. Look. It's my cat army. They've come to save the day. Ah, they're so cute. They're so cute, even in large numbers. I think the kitty cat army are pretty content over there in their new home. I don't think they would have want to stuck around over here because this thing's been transformed into a blood pit. That's right. That's blood. That's what we needed these nether warts for. It's kind of cool. And this is one of those moments where we are taking something directly from the stream plot world. And this was on the plot by Alton250 DOA. I'll put the name on the screen so you can use the plot world to teleport directly to it. If you do choose to do that, you'll see that I've adapted this slightly. It's not a block for block recreation, but basically it is the same thing. And I absolutely love this build. I don't know why. It's just so different and unique, and it's kind of something I didn't expect to build. You know, a blood pit? What's going on there? Anyway, in the middle of this thing, we're going to have a little bit of an island, and this is going to have what is basically blood dropping down from a pillar onto all of this area. Now, I wanted to replace that pillar with something else, which was some of these red nether bricks, because that's a more structural block. But when I put this here in the middle, you'll see it's just sort of going to look out of place. Now, I know that's not too much to look at the moment, but the more I look at the picture I have of the plot on the other screen, the more I realise that it is in fact blood dripping down over the little island that we got in the middle. And then there's some sandstone at the top of it, so it sort of comes out of nowhere and it drips down over the blocks into this little pool. And then there are some other decorative things around it as well. It's seriously cool. I don't know exactly 100% what it's supposed to be. Why does the blood come out of nowhere? But I don't think it needs explanation. There it is. Wow. That is spectacular. Didn't know I was going to be building that the other day until I saw that plot, and then I was like, there we go. Anyway, I'm going to throw down a few of these glass panes. You can see a couple of them up there. They'll make some nice details down in the bottom area here as well. And we're kind of done for the middle part of this. It's now really about what's going to go on the outside, and that's actually where I think where things get really interesting. Trees. Trees are what go on the outside, and don't you love how this bit here is illuminated? Notice that these redstone lamps aren't emitting light. That's because they're actually blocked by the ones around it, but they create this cool lighting effect. And here in the middle as well, I'm half wondering if I should put some lighting under the carpets because it's kind of dark, but maybe actually that's probably a good thing. I don't know. Blood doesn't emit light. Anyway, I'm going to give you a crash course in how to build these trees, because there's a little bit of a technique to this that I've been enjoying. Bam, two of those, one of them, then one of these up here, and then you go around it with some things like this, because there are 4 branches, and of course I'm gonna get the placing all wrong. You got to place it on the lower half of the block. Okay, then on the top, do I remember? Ha, it's not actually in my hotbar. So you put one of those at the top, then you come down below, and you just put all of these facing inwards. That blocks off the light. Now we can spin round the back, place in all 4 of these, and then do the same thing again with the stairs underneath. And that is how you make a simple blood tree. I'm calling them blood trees. I love these. It's just such an interesting build, and we're going to put a couple more of these in. So I reckon maybe 2 or 3 more trees, and then there's one more part of this feature. You know what block would fit well into this palette? Redstone. Might actually come back and throw some in at some point. Also, I noticed that this blood down here kind of looks contaminated or changed slightly. Contaminated's not the right word. Because it's all kind of pure here in the middle. And I like that. It like gets mixed up in the bit down below. It gives it some sense. But anyway, let's turn around and have a look behind me. You can see more trees. I do actually plan on putting another one just behind that, just like Alton did it. Because over in this corner there is actually like a little walkway down to where we're going to have a chest. What goes inside of the chest, I don't know. And if you've got any ideas what could be in the chest, let me know with a comment. Because it's kind of cool to leave little laws and things like that around the world, right? But one thing I had to do is I had to kind of skimp it a little bit around here because I've been running out of sandstone and running out of sand. And I did a big trip, which I never mentioned, flying around all over the place to gather materials for the things that we were going to build in this episode. And now I've ran out of them. But that preparation was really good because it allowed me to do a lot today. So we've done pretty much two of the big things that are going to be in this area. I've got plans for the rest of it. I'm really inspired and I cannot wait for the next biome as well. I think one of the things that makes this project really good is that we've got lots of smaller areas to do. If we were to do desert around the entire outside, it would get boring really quick, right? So we'll spend just a couple of episodes on this area and then we'll be moving on to new terrain with more and new interesting things. We have one thing left to do, and that is check it out from up here in the sky. I love the transformation so far. There is still quite a bit of space to be transformed. I've got plans for that. It's going to be awesome. But now when I fly around, I can just see it in the future. We're going to be making these little journeys around the place, watching the island slowly transform. It is going to be terrific. But as you might have guessed, that is going to be it from me this episode. If you have enjoyed it, then leave a like as always. Thank you so much for the support. And I will see you in the next one. Ciao for now. Bye bye.